Mr. President, over the past several weeks, I spent a lot of time traveling around my home state of Wyoming. I know you spent a lot of time traveling around your home state of Oklahoma. I talked to a lot of people in Wyoming, as you did in Oklahoma, about one of the top concerns, the things on their mind, and to me, and I know to you, that's been the Obama health care law. The disastrous problems that people are facing. You know, people now tell me that some of them are paying more for their health insurance than they are for their mortgage. And that's not just a problem in Oklahoma or in Wyoming, it's a problem all across the country. And that's now. But what they're also doing is reading stories in the papers, front page stories, that are saying that the rates next year are even going to go up again, and not just a little, but a lot. So I know that my Senate colleagues from all across the country, Republicans and Democrats, are hearing that because of the disastrous problems that the Obama health care law is currently experiencing. You know, in Wyoming, the Obama Health Insurance Exchange has only one company selling insurance. Only one. And Wyoming is not alone. Now, this wasn't supposed to happen. You know, the Democrats in Congress who supported this health care law, they said that they were going to create more competition, bring down prices by lots of competition. And I can still remember the president back in 2009 when he gave a speech to Congress. And what did he tell us? Well, he said that in 34 states, he said 75% of the insurance market was controlled by 5 or fewer companies. 5 or fewer. Now in Wyoming, we're down to 1. The president said without competition, the price of insurance goes up, and he said that the quality goes down. So that's what President Obama said 7 years ago. He said that 5 options or fewer was such a threat to competition and to quality of care for American families that he needed to create his very entire Obamacare health care system. So what's the situation today? 1/3 of America will have only one Obamacare insurer in 2017. The color-coded map that just came out from the Kaiser Family Foundation, came out last week, shows all these areas in orange have only one Obamacare insurer selling insurance in their locations. And I note, Mr. President, that Oklahoma and Wyoming are all in orange. Millions of Americans will have fewer choices in 2017 than they had in 2016, with 1/3 of the country having only one option for coverage next year. Now, the Obama administration said that these were supposed to be competitive marketplaces. That's what President Obama said. When there's only one company selling a product in an area, that's not competition, that's a monopoly. The president ought to understand that, and so should every Democrat in this body. So what are the national newspapers having to say about it? Well, the Wall Street Journal, front page story, last week, August 29th, health plan choices shrink. Page 1, health plan choices shrink. It says in 31% of U.S. counties, insurance exchanges appear likely to offer consumers only one option. It's a monopoly. That's the Wall Street Journal. Well, what this means, and you go through the articles, it will tell you 2.3 million people currently on Obamacare will have just one option for when they shop next year. So what are people expecting? Well, they're expecting their insurance premiums to go up. And when will they go up? Well, they'll go up November 1st, a week before the election. When people start signing up for next year's insurance, they're going to see the incredible sticker shock and how that affects them. That's what competition looks like under President Obama. One insurance company in all those orange areas. Well, it's interesting. I see the minority leader just left to go back to his office, the office where behind closed doors the health care law was written. Now, he's from the state of Nevada. Let's look at the state of Nevada. Orange, 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 all those counties. Other than this one area here, all of those counties, just one option. Because the very bright people, the architects of Obamacare, behind that closed and locked door, wrote a health care law that says now only that 1 in 3 Americans will have only one Obamacare insurer in 2017. It's what we predicted on the floor of the Senate as this bill was being debated. President Obama said, "Oh no, you're all wrong." The minority leader, who was then the majority leader and obviously lost the majority as a result of the poor judgment of the Democrats, whether it was Nancy Pelosi saying, first you have to pass it before you get to find out what's in it, or others who said this is going to be wonderful, this is what the American people are facing now. And all the areas in blue, they only have 2 to choose from. It is astonishing what has happened. When you're down to one choice, basically you have no choice. Except for the people in Pinal County, Arizona, this area in red. They actually have no choices. No one wants to sell Obamacare insurance to the people that live there. None. It is an Obamacare ghost town. The others may be Obamacare wastelands, no man's lands, but this is an Obamacare ghost town. So what does President Obama say about that? You know, it's gotten so bad in some places that the Obamacare exchanges have been called by state insurance commissioners very near collapse. Does President Obama hear any of these things? Do the Senate Democrats hear any of these things? You would think that they would if they go home and talk to people who live in their home states. But the insurance commissioner in Tennessee described the situation in her state as very near collapse. Now, you look at Tennessee on the map, and there are actually some places where they have more than one choice. But the companies that are selling insurance are saying, we cannot do it. We cannot continue because of the losses that they have incurred by trying to comply to all the rules and the regulations of the Obama health care law. So people in Tennessee who get Obamacare insurance will be paying as much as 62% more starting in January. When they go to sign up November 1st, they're going to be paying 62% more in January. Now, our colleague from Tennessee, Senator Lamar Alexander, recently said that for a 40-year-old person, the non-smoker, lives in his home state of Tennessee, buys the cheapest possible Obamacare Silver plan, compared to this year, next year that same person is going to have to pay $852 more than they did this year. Not $852, but $852 more than they did this year. Illinois, I talked to Senator Kirk about that, they're going to be paying 45% more next year. In Georgia, 33% more. Now, these aren't just proposed increases. These are increases that have been approved by the insurance commissioner of those states. And it's interesting when the Democrats come to the floor and say, well, they're only proposed increases, that will never happen. These are the increases that have been approved by the insurance commissioners of each of those states. Premiums are going through the roof. Americans are stuck with fewer options because the insurance companies just can't afford to sell on the exchanges due to the rules and the regulations and the mandates of the exchanges. And it's interesting. You pick up the newspaper, you don't have to page all the way through to get to the stories. Here's the Washington Post, Sunday, August 28th. Front page story, Mr. President, you can see it from all the way up there. Health exchange signups fall short. Health exchange signups fall short. Well, if this is such a great deal, as the president says it is, why are the health exchange signups falling short? Because the American people know it's not a good deal. It's not a good deal for them personally. Goes on to say several firms opt out, citing losses. So when you go through the whole article and it continues on into it goes on to say that the Obama administration's promise of a menu of health care choices has been replaced by a grim forecast. That's their words, a grim forecast. This is the forecast right here on the map. This is what the country has gotten because of President Obama's plan and the Democrats' demands that they take complete control of the health care of this country rather than leaving it in the hands of the men and women at home across the country who know what's best for them and their families. People living in a third of the country won't have any choice next year. All they'll have to deal with is an Obamacare health insurance monopoly, heading to Obamacare no man's land. Companies are giving up because people don't want Obamacare insurance. People can't afford it. They are not buying it. They say for them it's not a good deal. The Congressional Budget Office made some predictions. They predicted there'd be about 24 million people signed up for Obamacare by now. They made that prediction a year or so ago. The actual number, just 11 million. They overestimated by more than 2 to 1. Look, from the very beginning, the health care law has failed to live up to the hype and to all the promises that Democrats and President Obama have made. You know, remember when President Obama said under this law, he said, if you like your insurance, you could keep your insurance. If you like your insurance, you can keep your insurance. It's what the president told the American people. One of the fact finders called it the lie of the year, but President Obama said, if you like your insurance, you can keep your insurance. USA Today, August 30th, front page right there, health care choices choked further. More than 2 million people could be bumped from insurance plans in 2017. More than 2 million people currently on Obamacare bumped from their plans. And the president looked the American people in the eye and said, if you like what you have, you can keep it. That's what the American people are facing today. 1 in 3 have only one insurer to choose from. So the situation is going to get worse. State insurance commissioners say things are very near collapse. And what is the best thing that the president can do to say about all of this? He says to the Democrats, forcefully defend and be proud. Where are the proud defenders? Where are them today? Why aren't they here on the floor of the Senate defending this monstrosity that has hurt so many American people who had insurance? If you want to help people that didn't have insurance, you shouldn't have to hurt people that do have insurance. But yet I don't see the Democrats here forcefully defending and be proud. I challenge them to come to the floor, debate me about this law and the impact that it's had on the American people. What does Hillary Clinton say? She's running for president. She says defend and improve. Why are her supporters not here on the Senate floor defending it? These ideas have failed. The promises have gone up in smoke. So do they have any solutions? Do they have any recommendations? The recommendations are more Washington control. That's what Zeke Emanuel said the other day on television. He's the architect, sat behind the closed doors over there, coming up with this plan along with the Senate Minority Leader and a number of the Senate Democrats. That's what he says. More Washington control, more taxpayer money, bigger taxpayer-funded subsidies. That's what they said. Hillary Clinton talks about expanding the failing Medicaid program. They want to hurt our seniors by cramming more people onto the Medicare program that's already headed for insolvency. Americans know that our health care system is in trouble. Obamacare has failed. It is in the insurance death spiral. And Democrats cannot fix it by making it larger. In 1/3 of the counties in America, people won't have a choice for where they buy their health insurance starting November 1st. America does have a choice when it comes to fixing our broken health care system. We can choose to get rid of Obamacare and put in place solutions that we know actually will work for people. Not for unelected, unaccountable bureaucrats, but for people at home that we talk to in our home states over the August time. It means letting people get out from under the burden of all the Washington mandates. And it's the mandates that are really the cause of these devastating price increases. You want to create real competition, not Obamacare monopolies. But letting people choose the coverage and the cost that is right for them and their families, not what Washington says is right for them. And when you're from a rural state like Wyoming or the president's state the president of the Senate state today of Oklahoma, We know about rural medicine. We know about rural health care. We know about big distances. We know what people need. And people there know a lot better than what people in Washington think they know about small-town America and rural America. So the Republicans in this body and Republicans all around the country are going to continue to fight. We will not stop fighting for the kinds of reform that get the power out of Washington, to get the power back to the states, to let people have more control over the decisions that affect them and their lives and their communities and their future. Democrats don't have any ideas other than higher subsidies, more government control, more one-size-fits-all for the failed policies of the past, and these policies, I will tell you, Mr. President, have failed. Anything that over that number of years, from the president's first speech, where he's condemning the fact that there are only 4 or 5 choices, to now where you're looking at 1, 2, or 0 choices, points to the failure of the Obama health care law. It is time, as we get back here, and I hope Democrats listened to people at home and heard the complaints. It's time for Democrats to work with us to give the American people the health care that they want, that they need, and that they deserve. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the floor and note the absence of a quorum.